Welcome, and thank you for joining me tonight. As you settle into your bed, perhaps with a soft pillow cradling your head and a gentle warmth around you, allow yourself to sink into a slow, calm rhythm. Imagine the quiet of an evening in a small village somewhere far away, where the fading light of the day stretches across rolling hills, and a soft breeze carries a scent of wildflowers and damp earth. Tonight, we are going to journey into a world both familiar and strange, a world where whispers of the past linger just beyond the edge of our everyday lives. We are going to explore the stories and mysteries of Irish fairy folklore, tales that have traveled across centuries, carried by storytellers who spoke in soft, deliberate tones, weaving magic into the fabric of their communities. Close your eye for a moment and picture the green, undulating landscapes of Ireland. Imagine walking slowly along narrow paths lined with mossy stones, with a faint rustle of leaves above you and the distant murmur of a stream nearby. These hills and forests are more than just scenery. They are the living backdrop of stories that have been passed down from generation to generation, stories of beings unseen, of tiny creatures with glimmering eyes and soft laughter, of spirits who dwell just beyond the human gaze. Each whisper of wind, each shimmer of sunlight through the trees, could carry a secret of this hidden world. As you breathe in slowly, in through your nose and out through your mouth, let your mind begin to open to the gentle possibility of magic, the idea that the ordinary landscape may conceal extraordinary wonders. Tonight, you are not just an observer. You are a traveler moving slowly through the quiet corridors of history and imagination. The stories you will hear are not rushed. They unfold gently, like a river meandering through valleys, bending around rocks, taking its time to reveal each twist and turn. You will meet beings who have lived in the whispers of old Ireland, who have shaped human behavior with their mysterious influence, who have taught lessons without words and watched over the land with a subtle, invisible presence. These stories were never meant to alarm or frighten. They were meant to teach, to amuse, and to gently remind humans of the vast and layered world that exists beyond what is easily seen. As you listen, let the rhythm of my voice guide you into a state of calm awareness. Each story is a soft step, a quiet opening of a door into a room filled with wonder. Imagine the flicker of a candlelight illuminating ancient stone walls, the gentle crackle of a hearth, and the shadowy outlines of figures that may or may not be real. In this space, the ordinary rules of time and space are relaxed. Here, you can feel the connection between the land and the stories it holds, between humans and the magical beings who inhabit hidden places. Let yourself drift gently between these layers, moving from one thought to the next without effort, like clouds floating lazily across an autumn sky. There is a unique kind of magic in listening slowly, in allowing your mind to wander freely yet calmly. In Irish folklore, there are beings both playful and solemn, mischievous and wise, gentle and occasionally stern. Each has a place, each a story, and each a lesson tucked softly into the folds of myth. Tonight, we will begin at the very beginning, exploring how these stories first took shape in the minds and hearts of people who lived closely with nature, who observed the movements of the sun and moon, who felt the pull of the seasons and the whisper of the wind. Their observations became stories, and their stories became traditions, passed down like delicate threads connecting the past with the present. So, as you lie comfortably and let the warmth of your bed surround you, prepare yourself for a journey not through crowded streets or bustling towns, but through the quiet, mist-covered hills of Ireland, where every stone, every mound, every tree may hold a secret. Let your breathing slow, your muscles relax, and your mind open gently to the possibilities of a world that exists just beyond the edge of sight, a world that has fascinated, enchanted, and soothed people for countless generations. Let the stories we explore tonight wash over you like a soft, rhythmic tide, carrying you ever deeper into the calm, immersive, and magical world of Irish fairy folklore. Imagine now the land itself, stretching endlessly with its gentle hills, winding rivers, and quiet forests. Ireland is a place where nature and story are intertwined, where every bend in a river or rise of a hill seems to whisper secrets to those willing to listen. As you picture this landscape in your mind, allow your senses to awaken slowly. Feel the soft, damp earth beneath your feet. Smell the faint sweetness of wildflowers drifting on the breeze. Hear the subtle rustle of leaves as the quiet wind passes through the branches. These are not just the trappings of physical land. They are the threads that weave together the rich tapestry of myth and legend that has shaped Irish folklore for centuries. Long before cities and roads, before people crowded into towns, the land itself seemed alive, almost conscious, as if it were aware of its own hidden stories. The rolling green hills, dotted with ancient stones and mounds, were places where humans felt a presence that was more than natural. Many of these hills were believed to be the homes of the Aos, the mysterious and magical people of the fairy world. Picture a gentle mist rising in the early morning, soft and white, curling around each mound like protective veil. It is within these quiet, liminal spaces that the boundaries between the human world and the unseen world of magic were said to be thinnest. These places inspired awe, respect, and a cautious curiosity, a feeling that anyone wandering too far could encounter something far beyond ordinary understanding. Rivers and streams were just as important. Water in Ireland was never merely water. It was a lifeline, a mirror reflecting the heavens, a messenger of moods and omens. The gentle babble of a brook might have been interpreted as the laughter of unseen beings, or the quiet sigh of the land itself. Lakes and springs were thought to be entrances to hidden realms, places where magical creatures might emerge or vanish without notice. As you imagine standing by such a stream, the cool mist brushing your face, the sun breaking through clouds in soft golden rays, allow yourself to feel the tranquility, the gentle rhythm of life unfolding slowly and purposefully, guided by forces that were sometimes seen, sometimes only felt. Forests and ancient groves held a particularly sacred place in these stories. Trees were not just silent witnesses to time. They were often considered the dwellings of spirits, their branches arching protectively over the land, their roots stretching deep into unseen worlds. Imagine walking beneath a canopy of moss-draped oaks, the soft light filtering down in dappled patterns, each leaf shimmering slightly as if touched by unseen hands. The air is rich with the scent of earth and leaves, and the faint rustle of movement suggests that you are not alone, though nothing threatens you. These forests were both comforting and mysterious, places where fairies might linger or observe from a distance, curious about human visitors who respected their hidden domain. Mountains and cliffs also play their quiet role in this magical landscape. Rising sharply against the horizon, they appear almost eternal, untouched by time, yet they too are part of the stories. Legends speak of ancient battles between gods and magical peoples that took place upon these heights, and of hidden dwellings carved into the rocks by beings whose powers were beyond human comprehension. When you imagine gazing across the high cliffs, with the wind carrying the distant cry of seabirds and the steady rhythm of the waves below, you can almost sense the lingering energy of those long-ago events, preserved in the land itself. The ever-changing weather of Ireland further enhances the sense of magic. Rain can fall softly in a gentle drizzle, turning hills into shimmering emerald carpets. Fog can roll in, softening edges, concealing secrets, and making ordinary paths seem enchanted. Even a strong gust of wind can feel like the sigh of a watching spirit, reminding travelers that the world is alive in ways beyond immediate perception. In this land, humans learn to be patient, observant, and reverent. They learn to tread lightly, to listen carefully, and to respect that there are things unseen, yet profoundly real, in their midst. As night begins to fall, the landscape changes subtly. Shadows stretch and mingle, and the first glimmers of moonlight dance across stone and water. The quiet that descends upon the hills and forests feels almost sacred, as if the world itself is holding its breath. It is in these twilight hours, when the human world slows and the senses sharpen, that the stories of fairies, spirits, and hidden people take root most vividly. By imagining this land in its fullness, the hills, the rivers, the forests, the mountains, and the changing weather, you prepare your mind for the tales to come. You are already walking alongside the characters of legend, moving slowly and softly through a world that has nurtured wonder, curiosity, and respect for centuries. Now, as you continue to imagine the gentle rhythms of the Irish landscape, let yourself feel the calm settling deeper. Each hill, each stream, each tree, each stone has its own story, and together they form the stage upon which countless myths and folklore will unfold. The land itself is a storyteller, speaking in subtle tones that have inspired or in reverence for generations. And in this quiet, immersive space, we can begin to understand why the people of Ireland believed so deeply in fairies and magical beings. They did so because the land around them whispered endlessly, softly, and insistently, reminding them that the world is larger, stranger, and far more beautiful than the eye alone can see. Long before the pages of books and the ink of scribes recorded the tales, the people of Ireland carried their stories in memory, spoken softly from one generation to the next. These stories were not merely entertainment. They were a living history, a way of understanding the world, of explaining the movements of the sun and moon, the changing seasons, and the mysteries that seem to lie just beyond the reach of human sight. Close your eyes and imagine sitting around a small fire in an ancient settlement. The flickering flames cast gentle shadows on faces gathered closely together, and the air is filled with a quiet murmur of voices weaving tales of gods, heroes, and magical beings. Every word is deliberate, each pause meaningful, allowing listeners to absorb not just the events being described, but the deeper rhythms of the world itself. In these earliest days, the storytellers, often the druids or wise elders, played a vital role. They were the keepers of memory, guardians of culture, and interpreters of natural and supernatural phenomena. Imagine a tall figure, perhaps draped in a simple cloak, standing beside a stone circle, gesturing slowly as he speaks. His voice rises and falls with the cadence of the wind, and his audience listens, entranced. Through his words, the world becomes alive with invisible forces. The earth hums with energy, the rivers murmur secrets, the forests conceal beings whose presence is felt more than seen. These storytellers taught that the world was laid, that for every visible thing there was an unseen counterpart, and that understanding both was a path to wisdom and harmony. Much of this early folklore was rooted in Celtic beliefs, which saw nature as sacred and interconnected. Hills were not simply landforms, but living entities. Rivers were veins carrying the lifeblood of the earth. Trees were sentinels, ancient and wise. People believed that everything had a spirit, from the smallest pebble to the tallest mountain. As you imagine walking barefoot through the dewy grass, feeling the chill of the earth beneath your feet and the warmth of the sun on your back, consider that each step might be noticed, each movement acknowledged by the subtle presence of unseen beings. This belief instilled a careful, respectful approach to life, where humans sought to live in harmony with the natural and magical world surrounding them. Oral storytelling allowed these ideas to flourish in imaginative, flexible ways. Tales could grow or change depending on the audience, the teller, or even the season. Perhaps on a chilly evening, the story would emphasize the protective nature of certain fairies. On a bright summer day, it might celebrate their playful, mischievous side. Picture children and adults alike gathered by a warm hearth, the firelight dancing across their faces as they absorb the stories. They may not see the fairies directly, but they sense their presence, and the sense of unseen wonder becomes a shared cultural heartbeat. These tales were alive, moving, and intimate, each retelling a gentle meditation on the mysteries of existence. The earliest myths also carry profound meanings. They explain natural events, why storms would roll in from the west, why crops might fail one season and flourish the next, or why certain animals behave mysteriously. In a world without scientific instruments or written records, stories provided both comfort and guidance. They offered explanations for the unknown, teaching listeners about respect, caution, and gratitude. Imagine the gentle sound of rain tapping against a thatched roof as a storyteller speaks of spirits who ride the storm winds. The sound of the rain itself becomes part of the story, blending natural rhythm with narrative, drawing the audience deeper into the experience. As these stories passed through generations, they began to take on a more defined structure. Characters emerged, wise elders, mischievous spirits, heroic mortals, and divine beings. Each had a role, a personality, and a lesson to impart. Over time, these oral traditions became more intricate, and the boundaries between history and mythology blurred. Some tales remembered actual events, while others preserved moral truths, cultural values, or practical lessons in the guise of enchantment. Imagine a long, quiet night where the wind whispers outside the settlement. The storyteller's words seem to merge with the sound of the night, creating a sense of timelessness, a feeling that the stories have always existed and always will, waiting patiently for someone to listen. Even before Christianity reached Ireland, these stories served as the invisible architecture of the culture. They shaped behavior, informed celebrations, and connected communities to the landscape around them. People walked through the hills and valleys with an awareness that the world was alive with meaning. Each mound, stone, or grove was more than a simple object. It was a living node in a network of stories, a point where humans might brush against a magical, unseen layer of reality. As you imagine yourself wandering through these landscapes, let yourself feel that same gentle sense of curiosity and reverence, a calm attentiveness to the subtle pulse of the world around you. In this way, Irish folklore was both a record of the past and a guide to daily life. It reminded people that even the smallest actions, leaving an offering, speaking respectfully, walking softly, could resonate with beings far beyond ordinary perception. And while the stories themselves might contain excitement, danger, or mischief, their ultimate purpose was to maintain harmony, to instill calm awareness, and to help people navigate the mysterious world around them. These were stories meant to soothe as much as to teach, meant to be heard late at night as the body rests and the mind drifts, allowing imagination to roam freely yet gently. By understanding the origins of Irish folklore in this way, we can begin to see the layers of meaning that have endured for centuries. We can sense the careful observation of nature, the deep respect for unseen forces, and the delight in playful, magical beings. And as we move forward into the tales themselves, we carry with us a calm, receptive awareness, ready to step into a world where the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary is soft, blurred, and full of quiet wonder. Long before the hills and forests of Ireland were simply the backdrop for human life, they were said to be the domain of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the divine ancestors, mysterious beings of extraordinary power and grace. Imagine a time when the world seemed alive in ways that are hard to perceive now, when the land itself was thought to be a living entity, and when the people who walked upon it felt themselves intertwined with forces far beyond their understanding. The Tuatha Dé Danann was said to possess wisdom and magic that flowed as naturally as water in the rivers, their presence shaping the land, the weather, and the very destinies of those who lived upon it. Close your eyes and picture them moving gracefully across rolling hills, shimmering in soft light, their eyes reflecting the knowledge of ages, their voices harmonizing with the whispers of wind through the trees. These beings were not ordinary mortals, nor were they simple spirits. They were divine in every sense. Their origins, according to the myths, are both mysterious and poetic, often described as coming from the mystical island beyond the sea. They arrived in Ireland in a slow, deliberate migration, bringing with them gifts of knowledge, art, and craft. Their stories tell of a people who could command the elements, shape the earth, and create beauty that defied human comprehension. As you imagine their arrival, picture a mist rolling over the coastline, soft and silver in the early morning light. From this haze, figures emerge, moving with elegance and purpose, their presence felt more than seen, leaving behind a sense of that would linger for generations. The Tuatha Dé Danann were deeply connected to the natural world, each aspect of their being reflecting the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. Some were associated with rivers and lakes, their moods mirroring the flow of water. Others were connected to the forests, the quiet strength of their presence echoing in every ancient tree. Still others embodied the power of the mountains or the subtle warmth of sunlight across open fields. Their magic was not destructive, but rather formative. It shaped the world into a place where humans, animals, and spirits coexisted, each aware of the other's presence. Imagine walking through a grove where the air seems to shimmer, where sunlight falls in gentle, golden beams, and sensing that unseen eyes are watching kindly, guiding, and protecting. This was a world of the Tuatha Dé Danann, a world that inspired wonder and reverence in all who lived within it. Although powerful, the Tuatha Dé Danann were not invulnerable. Their myths speak of conflicts, of battles with other supernatural beings, and of the eventual arrival of mortal peoples who would change the balance of the land. In these stories, they are portrayed with both majesty and relatability, embodying virtues and flaws that mirror human experience in ways that are subtle and profound. Some tales describe their cunning and wisdom, others their pride and occasional temper, but in every instance, they remind us that even the most powerful beings are intertwined with the rhythms and cycles of the world. Picture a hilltop where the wind swirls around ancient stones, the echoes of past struggles lingering softly in the air, blending into the quiet hum of the land itself. The Tuatha Dé Danann were also the keepers of knowledge and craftsmanship. They brought the secrets of metalwork, music, healing, and prophecy to the people who would follow them. Imagine their hands shaping tools and instruments, their voices teaching melodies that seemed to rise from the land itself. Every song, every crafted object, every whispered piece of wisdom was a gift to the world, meant to be remembered and cherished. In a sense, they were teachers as much as rulers, guiding humanity gently, even as the tides of history began to shift and the land slowly transitioned toward mortal dominion. Their connection to Ireland was so profound that, according to myth, when the mortal peoples arrived, the Tuatha Dé Danann retreated from visible life into the hidden, into mounds and hills, becoming the ancestors of the fairies, the Sídhe. Picture this retreat as a soft, deliberate fading of figures into the misty hills, leaving behind traces of their magic in the land. traces that would later shape the stories and beliefs of countless generations. Even as their visible presence diminished, the Tuatha Dé Danann remained deeply influential, their essence woven into the very soul of Ireland. Every stone circle, every sacred spring, every hilltop breeze carries a whisper of their power, waiting for those with attentive hearts to perceive it. As you imagine these beings, allow yourself to feel the calm majesty of their presence. They were neither threatening nor distant, but rather gently commanding, a reminder that the world is laid, that visible reality is only one part of a larger, more mysterious whole. Their stories teach patience, respect, and wonder, urging us to see the magic in our surroundings, to listen to the quiet lessons of nature, and to carry these insights gently as we move through life. In the soft hush of twilight, you can almost sense them walking among the hills, shaping, guiding, and observing, their stories woven seamlessly into the land itself. And so, as we begin our journey into the magical, hidden worlds that followed in their footsteps, let the Tuatha Dé Danann guide your imagination. Picture their elegant forms fading into the hills, their voices echoing softly in the wind, and their wisdom lingering in every quiet corner of the landscape. By understanding their presence, we come to appreciate not only the origins of Irish fairy folklore, but also the gentle, patient, and wondrous rhythms that shape the myths and stories we will explore in the sections to come. Over time, the divine presence of the Tuatha Dé Danann began to shift in the imagination of the people. As generations passed and Ireland's landscapes became populated with human settlements, these once mighty beings gradually receded from the visible world. They did not vanish entirely, but instead became less tangible, retreating into the hills, mounds, and hidden places that would later be known as fairy dwellings. Imagine the soft rolling mist rising over green hills at dawn, curling gently around ancient stone circles and hillocks. It is here, in these quiet, liminal spaces, that the divine slowly transforms into the magical, the omnipotent, giving way to beings that are smaller, more subtle, yet no less enchanting. The transition is not abrupt but gentle, like a soft melody fading into a whisper, leaving behind traces of power and wonder for those attuned enough to notice. With the spread of Christianity across Ireland, the perception of supernatural beings underwent further changes. Old gods and divine figures were reinterpreted through a new lens. While some of their power and majesty were acknowledged, their role was reframed. They became less visible, their stories often recast as warnings or moral lessons. Yet even in this transformation, their essence persisted, shifting into forms more compatible with the evolving culture. Imagine a twilight forest, where shadows stretch long and subtle sounds of the wind pass through the trees. The figures that once walked openly among mortals now exist just beyond the edge of perception, their laughter or footsteps faint but unmistakable to those who pause and listen carefully. As this shift continued, human imagination and folklore began to fill the spaces left by the retreating gods. The mighty, commanding figures of the Tuatha Dé Danann became ancestors of the Aos Sídhe, the fairy folk who inhabit hills, forests, and mounds. These new beings were smaller, more approachable in some ways, yet still mysterious and powerful in ways humans could not fully understand. Imagine a tiny figure glimpsed from the corner of your eye, just beyond the path, flitting gracefully between blades of grass, its presence felt more than seen. The transition from god to fairy is subtle and beautiful, divine majesty distilled into intimate magic or transformed into gentle wonder. This period also brought a change in the way humans interacted with these beings. Whereas once the divine might have been addressed with rituals of reverence and ceremony, the emerging fairy folk required more subtle offerings. A small bowl of milk left at a hillock, a soft whisper of thanks carried on the wind. Careful respect when walking near mounds or sacred groves. Imagine a quiet village at dusk, where families move gently through their daily lives, aware that the unseen world is present, but careful not to provoke it. Every action, every movement is infused with a soft awareness that magic is always nearby, waiting, observing, and occasionally interacting in ways that are gentle, whimsical, or instructive. In these stories, the fairies are diverse and complex. Some are mischievous, playing tricks on travelers or teasing humans who fail to show proper respect. Others are protective, offering blessings, healing, or guidance to those who honor them. Imagine walking along a forest path, the air filled with a soft scent of moss and wildflowers, and sensing that unseen eyes are watching. You may feel a sudden shift in the breeze, a light touch of movement near your feet, a quiet acknowledgement of your presence. This is the essence of the transformed supernatural world, intimate, personal, and deeply intertwined with daily life, yet still layered with mystery and magic. The contrast between the old gods and the emerging fairies is also reflected in stories themselves, where tales of the Tuatha Dé Danann emphasize grandeur, epic battles, and feats of unmatched skill. The stories of fairies focus on small wonders, subtle lessons, and gentle interactions with humans. It is a change in scale and tone, but not in depth or significance. Imagine a soft evening rain falling over a quiet meadow, the rhythmic patter blending with the faint sounds of unseen movement. The stories unfold slowly, teaching attentiveness, patience, and respect for the world in ways that are soothing rather than overwhelming. Even as fairies became smaller and less overtly powerful, they retained the enchantment and fascination that had once belonged to the gods. They remained beings of otherworldly knowledge and influence, capable of shaping events subtly, guiding choices, and rewarding kindness. Their magic was woven into the fabric of the land, in the hills, streams, and forests, in the whispering wind and the soft rustle of leaves. Imagine yourself sitting quietly in a grove at dusk, feeling the calm pulse of life around you, sensing that the world is alive with intelligence and care beyond what is immediately visible. This is the essence of the transformation, majesty distilled into subtlety, power into gentle guidance, or into wonder. In this gentle transition, the stories of Ireland began to take the shape that would endure for centuries. The gods of old became the fairies of folklore, retaining traces of their wisdom, their majesty, and their connection to the natural world, but in forms that were approachable, relatable, and intimately tied to human life. As we continue our journey, we will meet these beings, explore their various types, and understand how they shape the beliefs, behaviors, and imaginations of generations. But first, pause for a moment in this quiet space, feeling the soft presence of unseen companions in the hills and mists, and allow yourself to drift slowly into the gentle rhythm of the stories that are about to unfold. As the divine presence of the Tuatha Dé Danann gradually transformed into the more subtle, intimate magic of fairies, human imagination began to categorize and make sense of the many beings that inhabited this hidden world. These creatures, collectively known as the Aos, took on forms and personalities that reflected both the land around them and the human need to understand what lay just beyond ordinary perception. Imagine a misty morning, where the sun's first rays filter softly through the trees, illuminating blades of grass glistening with dew. Within that quiet, magical space, tiny figures might move unseen, each with its own character, purpose, and presence. Some are mischievous, some protective, some solemn, and some delightfully playful. Among these beings, leprechauns are perhaps the most familiar to many, though their stories are richer than the brief tales often told. Picture a small, wiry figure with a clever glint in his eye, moving quietly among the roots of ancient oaks or near the edges of quiet streams. Leprechauns are craftsmen, known for shaping fine shoes with extraordinary skill, but they are also tricksters, often testing the patience, cunning, or honesty of humans who cross their path. They teach lessons gently, through riddles or minor pranks, reminding those who encounter them that cleverness and respect are both virtues to be valued. Their presence is subtle but persistent, a quiet thread in the vast tapestry of Irish folklore. The banshee, in contrast, carries a more somber and haunting tone. Imagine standing in the twilight near an old stone house, the air still and the evening quiet except for the faintest whisper of a wailing sound in the distance. This is the sound of the banshee, a spirit who appears to signal the approach of death in a family line. She is not malevolent, but her presence reminds humans of the fragile and transient nature of life. She is one of the many ways in which the Aos interact with humanity, not with malice, but with guidance and the preservation of natural order. In the quiet of night, her song may drift on the wind, soft and mournful, evoking reflection, patience, and a deep awareness of the unseen forces that accompany daily life. Then there are the pukas, shape-shifting spirits whose appearance can range from playful animals to dark, mysterious creatures. Imagine wandering through a shadowed forest as dusk falls, sensing movement at the edge of vision, a flicker of a dark figure bounding past. The puka may lead travelers on wild, whimsical adventures or mischievous detours, and yet their actions often carry lessons, teaching awareness, humility, and respect for the natural world. These beings embody both unpredictability and the quiet humor of the hidden world, providing a delicate balance to the solemnity of spirits like the banshee. Beyond these familiar types, The Aosai encompass countless other forms. There are beings tied closely to the land, inhabiting ancient mounds, hills, and sacred groves. Some are guardians of springs, watching over the flow of water and the creatures that rely upon it. Others dwell in forests or near caves, their presence known only through subtle signs, a rustle in the leaves, a shimmer of movement, or a soft light flickering in the twilight. Imagine a gentle breeze passing through a grove of trees, carrying with it the soft whisper of invisible watchers. These spirits remind humans to walk softly, to honor the land, and to maintain a quiet curiosity about the mysteries surrounding them. The diversity of the Aosai reflect the complexity of the world they inhabit. Each type of fairy has its own temperament, preferences, and powers, yet all share a deep connection to the rhythms of nature. Some fairies are solitary, spending their days hidden away in quiet places, while others interact more frequently with humans, appearing in dreams, songs, or moments of unexpected luck or mischief. As you imagine these creatures moving quietly through the landscape, allow yourself to feel the calm awareness of their presence. They are not threatening, but their world is one of rules, rituals, and subtle consequences, a mirror of human society in miniature and magical form. The distinction between these types of fairies also helps us understand the stories they inspired. Tales of leprechauns encourage cleverness and honesty. Stories of banshees remind humans of mortality and respect, and pucker adventures teach attentiveness, humility, and the gentle humor inherent in the world. By recognizing the roles of each kind of fairy, the human imagination could navigate the invisible world more safely and with appreciation. Imagine a quiet evening by a hearth, the soft glow of firelight dancing across the room, and picture each type of fairy existing simultaneously. Playful, somber, mischievous, and wise, all coexisting in a delicate balance that mirrors the unseen rhythms of life itself. In this way, the categorization of fairies allowed humans to build a relationship with the unseen world, one that was intimate, respectful, and infused with wonder. They were no longer distant gods but companions and guides, sometimes playful, sometimes solemn, always present. As the mist of early morning drifts across hills, as rivers glimmer with reflected light, as trees sway softly in the wind, these beings inhabit every quiet space, reminding humans of magic, history, and the delicate harmony of the world. And in understanding the variety of fairies, we begin to see not only their roles but the ways in which they shaped imagination, behavior, and cultural continuity throughout centuries of Irish life. Among the most intriguing elements of Irish folklore are the fairy mounds, often called the Sídhe, gentle hills, and earthen mounds that hide entrances to the magical world. Imagine walking slowly along a quiet path, the soft scent of moss and damp earth in the air, and noticing a small rise in the land, barely distinguishable from the surrounding hills. To the untrained eye, it is simply a natural formation, a gentle curve in the landscape. But to those attuned to the whispers of the unseen, these mounds are alive with magic, gateways where the human world brushes against the hidden realms of the Aosai. The land itself seems to hold its breath, as if inviting careful footsteps and respectful observation. The Sídhe were believed to be homes of powerful beings, once mighty gods and ancestors, who now dwell in secrecy, rarely seen but constantly present. Picture the morning mist curling around these mounds, soft and silver in the light of dawn. If you stand silently, listening to the rustle of leaves, the gentle flow of nearby streams, and the distant call of a bird, you might sense that these hills are not empty. They vibrate with an energy that is gentle yet palpable, a quiet hum of the lives and stories that have taken place there for centuries. The idea that the world contains these hidden thresholds teaches patience, attentiveness, and a deep respect for the ordinary landscape, which may conceal wonders unseen. Fairy mounds were not merely locations, they were sacred spaces. People believed that to disturb them carelessly was to invite misfortune, while careful respect could bring blessings or protection. Imagine approaching such a mound at twilight, the air cool and still, and leaving a small offering, a bowl of milk, a ribbon, or a token of acknowledgement, gently placed upon the earth. This simple act, though quiet, carries great meaning. It acknowledges that the land is alive, that unseen beings watch and listen, and that harmony between human and fairy worlds is maintained through attention and care. These mounds also carried stories of mystery and adventure. Many tales speak of humans who stumbled upon entrances, sometimes by accident, sometimes by fate. Within, They found a realm where time flows differently, where light and shadow behave unusually, and where the ordinary rules of reality are suspended. Imagine stepping through such an entrance in your mind. The landscape shifts, soft light illuminates hidden groves, and beings move gracefully in and out of view. Every detail is designed to feel simultaneously familiar and strange, comforting and slightly thrilling. These stories allowed people to imagine a world larger than their immediate surroundings, filled with wonder and caution, curiosity and respect. The significance of Sídhe also extends to festivals and seasonal rituals. Ancient celebrations often took place near these mounds, especially at times when the veil between worlds was considered thin, such as Samhain, marking the end of harvest and the beginning of winter. Imagine villagers moving quietly through the twilight, carrying small offerings to these sacred spaces, lighting gentle fires, and whispering prayers. The mounds served as physical and spiritual anchors, reminding humans of the presence of magic, of the past that continues to inform the present, and of the delicate balance between seen and unseen worlds. In addition to their protective and mystical functions, fairy mounds inspired, or through the stories of encounters that seemed almost real. Many legends describe people disappearing into a mound, only to return many years later, or perhaps not at all, having experienced the passage of time differently in the hidden world. Imagine the soft hush of wind through the trees, carrying the echo of a distant melody or a laugh that seems to belong to no one. The uncertainty, the subtle thrill, and the gentle caution of these stories kept communities attuned to both the beauty and the invisible perils of their surroundings, creating a mindfulness that is both calm and attentive. Beyond the mounds themselves, the surrounding landscapes, fields, streams, and ancient stone circles enhance the sense of magic. Every stone, every tree, every bend in a path could be a marker of a fairy dwelling. Imagine wandering slowly through such a place, noticing the delicate shimmer of sunlight on wet grass, the quiet rustle of leaves, the faint scent of flowers carried on a gentle breeze. All these details contribute to the sense of the world is laid, that ordinary landscapes can hide extraordinary secrets if approached with care and quiet attention. Through the ages, these mounds became central symbols of connection between humans and the hidden world. They teach lessons of respect, observation, and reverence for the land. They remind us that there are realms beyond what we see and that the smallest details, a gentle gesture, a soft offering, a careful step, can maintain harmony with forces that are patient, powerful, and subtle. And as you imagine yourself sitting or walking near a fairy mound, sensing the energy that lingers in the soil and the air, allow your mind to rest, gently imagining the presence of these ancient, magical beings quietly watching, guiding, and protecting the hidden corners of the world. Among the most captivating aspects of Irish fairy folklore are the interactions between humans and the Sídhe, the hidden folk who inhabit hills, mounds, forests, and streams. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet meadow at dusk, the sky painted in soft shades of pink and gold, the air still except for the gentle rustle of leaves. In this moment, it is easy to feel that you are not alone. The world, in all its calm beauty, carries subtle signs of unseen presence, a flicker of movement at the corner of your eye, a sudden gentle breeze, or the faint, melodic sound of laughter that seems to belong to nowhere yet everywhere. These are the whispers of fairies, always observing, occasionally interacting, and deeply intertwined with human life. The stories often emphasize the importance of respect and courtesy when engaging with the hidden folk. Even the smallest act, such as leaving a bowl of milk at a mound or acknowledging the presence of a grove before walking through it, could ensure goodwill. Imagine a quiet village at twilight, where people move gently and deliberately, each aware of invisible companions who watch and guide. In this folklore, humans who act thoughtfully and with care are rewarded, while carelessness or disrespect can lead to subtle mischief or minor misfortune. The lessons are not frightening, but they are firm, teaching attentiveness, patience, and the importance of living harmoniously with the natural and magical worlds. Among the many types of interactions, some fairies are known for their playfulness and mischief. The leprechauns, for instance, are craftsmen and tricksters, testing the cleverness and patience of humans. Imagine a small, wiry figure working meticulously on a tiny pair of shoes beneath the roots of an ancient tree. If you approach without caution or respect, he may vanish suddenly, leaving behind a riddle or prank that teaches a lesson about humility and carefulness. These interactions are never cruel, but are designed to cultivate awareness, mindfulness, and even humor. The world of fairies, in this sense, is a gentle mirror of human society, full of rules, quirks, and subtle guidance, yet never overwhelmingly forceful. Other fairies serve protective and instructive roles. Certain beings guard streams, wells, or sacred groves, and their presence ensures the health and balance of these places. Imagine walking beside a quiet river, the water flowing gently over smooth stones, and sensing that the life within and around it is being carefully tended by unseen hands. Such fairies reward humans who act with consideration, a respectful gesture, a whispered thanks, or even a quiet moment of reflection can invite blessings, good fortune, or gentle guidance. These stories emphasize the interconnectedness of all things, reminding listeners that the natural world, magical or mundane, responds to attentiveness, gratitude, and care. Encounters with fairies are often described as fleeting and ephemeral. A traveler might glimpse a figure moving gracefully between the trees, or hear soft singing in a distant glen, only to find nothing there upon close inspection. These moments are not meant to frighten, but to cultivate wonder, curiosity, and the sense that the world contains layers beyond immediate perception. Imagine pausing on a hilltop as the wind rustles through tall grass, hearing the faint echo of song or laughter that seems to dissolve into the evening air. Such experiences teach patience and quiet attentiveness, inviting humans to slow down, observe carefully, and appreciate the subtle magic of the everyday world. In many stories, the fairies also interact with human celebrations and seasonal rituals. Samhain, for instance, was a time when the veil between worlds was considered thin, allowing fairies and other hidden beings to roam more freely. Villagers would leave small offerings, light fires, and take gentle precautions to honor and appease the hidden folk. Imagine the soft glow of candles flickering across the countryside, the faint smell of smoke drifting over fields, and the quiet murmur of ritual observance. These practices reflect a deeply ingrained understanding that the human and magical realms are intertwined, that cooperation and respect between them ensures balance, safety, and quiet harmony. Even playful or mischievous fairies often carry subtle moral or practical lessons. Pukas, for example, are shapeshifters who can lead travelers astray or provide sudden bursts of insight, depending on how humans behave. Imagine a dense forest at twilight, a puka darting ahead, guiding or teasing, encouraging you to pay attention, be patient, or exercise caution. These tales blend a sense of thrill with calm reflection, teaching lessons gently, as if the world itself were a patient teacher, showing the consequences of thoughtless action or inattentiveness without ever imposing harsh punishment. Through these stories, it becomes clear that the Aosai are not distant or abstract forces. They are intimately connected to the rhythms of human life and the natural world. They remind us that attention, care, and respect matter, that subtle magic surrounds us, and that wonder can be found in ordinary moments when we pause and observe. Imagine yourself resting quietly in a meadow or beside a gentle stream, the last light of day fading, and sensing the invisible companions nearby. Their presence is calming, subtle, and profound, an ever-present reminder that the world is layered with stories, magic, and gentle guidance. By understanding these interactions, we gain insight into the way Irish folklore nurtures attentiveness, reflection, and respect for the unseen world. The fairies teach us not through force, but through subtle influence, curiosity, and gentle guidance. As you imagine these interactions, allow yourself to sink deeper into a state of calm awareness, letting the rhythm of the landscape, the stories, and the soft presence of hidden beings guide your mind into a gentle, reflective calm. In Irish folklore, one of the most fascinating aspects of the fairy world is their interaction with time, which often behaves differently in the hidden realms. Imagine walking slowly through a misty glen at dawn, the soft light brushing over the dew-kissed grass, and sensing that the world around you is a rhythm slightly different from your own. In many stories, humans who enter a fairy mound or encounter the Aosai may experience time in unexpected ways. A single afternoon in the human world could stretch into years within the fairy realm, or conversely, decades may pass while the visitor believes only a few hours have gone by. This fluidity of time lends a dreamlike quality to these tales, inviting listeners to drift slowly into imagination and gentle reflection. The concept of altered time also serves as a reminder of the profound separation between the human and fairy worlds. Imagine a traveler who stumbles upon a hidden grove, where soft light filters through ancient trees and the air carries a faint murmur of unseen voices. Within this space, ordinary expectations of seasons, hours, and events become flexible. Humans are reminded that the world is laid, that there exist realms beyond ordinary perception where rules are not fixed but fluid. The stories encourage careful observation, patience, and humility, allowing humans to approach these encounters with respect and an open heart. Some of the most famous tales involving altar time include stories of mortals meeting fairy brides or grooms. In these tales, a human may fall in love with fairy, only to find that the span of their life in the hidden realm far exceeds anything they anticipated. Imagine a quiet, moonlit evening, where a soft glow reveals the delicate features of a fairy figure, whose eyes carry centuries of wisdom and experience. The human visitor, entranced by beauty and gentle companionship, may not realize how differently time flows in this hidden realm. These stories illustrate the captivating, often bittersweet nature of fairy interactions, blending wonder, caution, and deep reflection. Similarly, time in the fairy realm is often connected to cycles of nature. A brief visit may coincide with the bloom of a particular flower, the passage of a cloud, or the migration of birds. Each detail reinforces the fairy world's harmony with natural rhythms. Imagine a soft breeze carrying the scent of wildflowers across a sun-dappled meadow, the air humming with quiet energy. In this space, humans become acutely aware of the passing moments, the subtle shifts in light and sound, and the interconnectedness of all things. The stories teach mindfulness, patience, and appreciation for the fleeting beauty of life, mirroring the slow, immersive rhythm of bedtime storytelling itself. Fairy time is also a reminder of impermanence. Encounters often leave humans with feelings of awe and nostalgia, as though they have glimpsed a world both eternal and transient. Imagine walking through a forest after gentle rain, the earth soft beneath your feet, the light glinting on droplets still clinging to leaves. In this quiet moment, you might sense echoes of the hidden world lingering in the patterns of the landscape, in the quiet rhythm of water and wind. These stories teach that even fleeting experiences have lasting impact, and that attentiveness to subtle wonders enriches life in meaningful, gentle ways. Interestingly, stories of fairy time often involve both caution and reward. Humans who are respectful, patient, and attentive may return from fairy encounters with wisdom, blessings, or insights into their own lives. Conversely, those who act impulsively or disrespectfully may lose valuable opportunities, encounter minor misfortune, or discover that years have passed while they believed only a short time had gone by. Imagine pausing in a quiet glen, feeling the soft brush of wind against your face, and sensing that every action carries weight, however subtle. These tales encourage reflection and deliberate, gentle behavior, reinforcing the calm, meditative qualities that define Irish fairy folklore. The altered perception of time also emphasizes the idea that the fairy world exists in parallel to human life, a hidden layer of reality that moves at its own pace. Imagine sitting by a riverbank as the sun dips below the horizon, the water reflecting soft hues of pink and violet. In this moment, the world feels vast, layered, and alive with hidden dimensions. By considering the passage of time in the fairy realm, humans are reminded to slow their own pace, to notice small details, and to cultivate patience and mindfulness. The tales invite listeners to experience the gentle flow of moments, enhancing calmness and reflection in both imagination and real life. Finally, stories of fairy time encourage a deep sense of wonder. By bending the familiar rules of hours, days, and seasons, they remind humans that the world is not limited to what is immediately visible. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves, a distant laugh carried on the wind, or a flicker of movement at the edge of vision. These subtle signs hint at layers of reality waiting to be appreciated, teaching that magic can be found in observation, stillness, and quiet attention. As you imagine these encounters, allow your mind to drift slowly, following the gentle rhythm of time in the hidden world, where every moment is rich with possibility, subtle guidance, and quiet enchantment. One of the most enchanting aspects of Irish fairy folklore is the notion of fairy gifts and blessings, subtle rewards given to humans who show respect, patience, or cleverness. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet glade, the soft hum of nature surrounding you, and noticing a faint shimmer in the air, almost like sunlight reflected on a gentle stream. In this quiet space, the hidden folk might bestow a gift, not something grand or material, but a small, magical favor that brings fortune, insight, or protection. Perhaps it is a sudden stroke of luck in finding a lost item, a helpful piece of advice appearing at the right moment, or a soft sense of comfort during a troubling day. These blessings are never loud or forceful. They are quiet, gentle nudges that weave seamlessly into the rhythm of daily life. Fairy gifts often carry moral or practical lessons, teaching humans to be observant, courteous, and mindful of their surroundings. Imagine leaving a small bowl of milk or honey at the base of an ancient mound, your hands brushing the soft moss as you set it down with care. This simple act, performed without expectation, may invite a gentle favor in return, a healed wound, a safe journey, or the discovery of something long lost. These stories illustrate the deep interplay between human behavior and the magical world, emphasizing that respect, patience, and subtle attentiveness can create harmony with unseen forces. The gifts of the fairies are never overwhelming or ostentatious. They are tender, almost imperceptible, yet deeply meaningful. Some gifts are playful, designed to amuse or teach through gentle mischief. Imagine a traveler who encounters a small, twinkling figure near a stream, only to have their path subtly redirected by a mischievous nudge. At first, it might seem frustrating, yet this small detour leads to the discovery of a beautiful hidden meadow, a cluster of wildflowers, or a quiet vantage point with a breathtaking view. These gifts are instructive in nature, teaching humans that patience and openness to unexpected experiences can reveal beauty and wonder. The stories encourage mindfulness, illustrating that even minor disruptions or surprises in life can hold subtle meaning or joy if approached with calm awareness. Other blessings are protective, guarding humans from harm or guiding them safely through difficult circumstances. Imagine walking near the edge of a misty forest, the ground soft with fallen leaves, when an invisible hand seems to redirect your step just enough to avoid a hidden danger. The gift of guidance, though unseen, is profound. It is a quiet knowledge that the world contains helpers and protectors, always present yet gentle in their influence. These protective gifts underscore the connection between humans and the hidden folk, reminding listeners that respect, reverence, and attentiveness can create safety and harmony in both ordinary and magical realms. Fairy gifts can also appear as inspiration, creativity, or sudden insight. Imagine an artist sketching quietly by a riverbank at dawn, feeling a surge of vision or clarity in a previously blocked idea. Or consider a musician whose melody suddenly flows effortlessly, as if carried by invisible hands. These subtle moments of inspiration are often attributed to the Aosai, reinforcing the idea that magic is not only about tricks or mischief, but also about nurturing human potential, guiding choices, and enriching life in quiet, meaningful ways. The stories encourage calm observation and reflection, allowing humans to recognize and honor these subtle influences. Interestingly, fairy gifts often involve subtle paradoxes. What appears as mischief may ultimately bring fortune, and what seems trivial may hold profound significance. Imagine setting out on a journey and finding that a seemingly insignificant deity, perhaps a path that curves away from the main road, leads to a discovery that changes your perspective or provides a small but meaningful reward. These tales teach that fortune is rarely loud or immediate. Instead, it arrives quietly in ways that reward patience, respect, and careful observation. Such stories nurture a gentle attentiveness to life, fostering a calm awareness that aligns perfectly with bedtime storytelling. In addition, fairy gifts frequently carry long-term significance. A favor granted in youth may echo through a lifetime, or an act of kindness may ripple subtly into the future, influencing events in ways that are only understood later. Imagine watching the gentle movement of water in a small stream, the soft reflections shifting as the sun moves across the sky. Just as the water's flow is continuous and interconnected, so too are the effects of fairy blessings woven into the tapestry of human life. These tales encourage contemplation and calm reflection, inviting listeners to consider the subtle impact of their actions and the quiet guidance that surrounds them. Ultimately, the stories of fairy gifts and blessings reinforce the essential principles of Irish folklore: respect, patience, attentiveness, and harmony with the hidden world. They remind humans that magic is not always grand or immediate, but often gentle, intimate, and deeply integrated into the rhythms of daily life. Imagine sitting quietly in a meadow at twilight, the soft hum of insects and distant birdsong blending into the gentle movement of wind through trees. In this calm space, you can sense a quiet presence of the Aosai, observing, guiding, and occasionally bestowing small gifts that enrich life in ways both subtle and profound. By reflecting on these stories, we gain insight into the way the hidden folk interact with humans, shaping imagination, behavior, and cultural continuity through quiet influence. The gifts are never demanding. They are offered gently, always accompanied by a lesson of mindfulness, reverence, and calm attentiveness. As you imagine these gifts and their effects, allow your mind to drift slowly into the rhythm of the world, following the subtle guidance, small pleasures, and quiet magic of the hidden realms that coexist alongside human life. One of the most enchanting aspects of Irish fairy folklore is the idea of fairy mischief, the playful and sometimes teasing interactions that the Aosai have with humans. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet village at dusk, the air calm, the sky tinged with pink and gold, and sensing that the ordinary world is layered with hidden magic. In the soft, fading light, a breeze rustles through leaves, carrying the faintest hint of laughter that seems to come from nowhere. This is the essence of fairy mischief, subtle, gentle, and often instructive, reminding humans that the hidden world is alive, attentive, and responsive to their behavior. Mischievous fairies are not harmful in a cruel sense. Rather, they engage in acts that teach patience, cleverness, and respect. Leprechauns, for instance, may hide small items, challenge humans with riddles, or create minor obstacles that test a person's wit and attentiveness. Imagine a traveler pausing by a stream, searching for a lost tool, only to notice a tiny figure darting away behind the roots of a tree. The playful tug of curiosity and gentle frustration encourages the traveler to observe more closely, to act with care, and to approach the world with a mindful awareness of their surroundings. Such tales encourage reflection and subtly reinforce moral and cultural lessons in a calm and soothing way. Other fairies, such as the puka, are known for their unpredictable yet whimsical behavior. They might lead travelers on twisting paths, appear as animals, or create illusions that make a journey feel longer or more complicated than it actually is. Imagine wandering along a quiet forest path, noticing movement in the corner of your eye, a black shape darting through the undergrowth, yet when you turn fully, it vanishes. This gentle trickery is not intended to harm, but to teach attentiveness, humility, and patience. In folklore, encountering such mischief often results in a story retold for generations, emphasizing the value of careful observation, respect, and the ability to respond gracefully to unexpected events. Fairy mischief is not limited to travelers or outsiders. Even locals living in villages or near sacred sites were aware that their action could invite or avert playful interference. A careless word, a thoughtless act, or a failure to leave a small offering might result in minor misfortune, such as milk turning sour, tools going missing, or animals behaving unusually. These subtle interventions serve as reminders that the world is alive with hidden forces, and that living in harmony with them requires attentiveness and respect. Imagine sitting by a hearth as night falls, the quiet crackle of firewood blending with soft murmurs of stories being told, each tale carrying a calm lesson in awareness and consideration. Despite their playful nature, fairy mischief often carries deeper wisdom. By creating small, unexpected challenges, the Aosai encourage humans to develop qualities such as patience, adaptability, and problem-solving. Imagine encountering a tricky riddle or obstacle on a quiet path, where the answer or solution is not obvious. In solving it, humans learn subtle truths about the world, about themselves, and about the delicate balance between the visible and invisible realms. These lessons are never forced, never harsh. They unfold gently, like a soft breeze or the gradual fading of sunlight at twilight. Mischief also reminds humans of the fragility and unpredictability of life. Small setbacks, strange occurrences, or unexplainable phenomena were attributed to the Aosai, encouraging calm acceptance rather than fear or frustration. Imagine noticing that a set of footprints seems to disappear into thin air, or that a carefully placed object is moved without explanation. These gentle mysteries serve to heighten mindfulness and create a sense of wonder, cultivating a habit of observation and a deeper connection to both nature and the unseen world. In some tales, mischief is a protective element. By testing humans, fairies may prevent them from taking foolish actions, wandering into dangerous areas, or behaving recklessly. Imagine a gentle breeze nudging a traveler away from a hidden cliff, or a sudden rustle in the bushes warning of unseen obstacles. These subtle interventions guide without confrontation, fostering harmony between human life and the magical environment. The mischief is instructive, calm, and always intertwined with care, teaching that the hidden world is both alive and attentive. Fairy mischief also adds richness to the storytelling tradition itself. Tales of playful trickery are retold in households and villages, often at the end of the day when people are winding down. These stories carry a gentle thrill, balancing excitement with calm reflection. Imagine listening to a story by candlelight, the flickering shadows dancing across walls, as you picture the leprechaun darting behind a tree or the pukka bounding across a meadow. These narratives soothe, entertain, and instruct simultaneously, creating the perfect atmosphere for slow, mindful contemplation before sleep. Ultimately, the stories of fairy mischief are reminders that the hidden world is not distant or abstract. It is intimate, observant, and quietly present in the rhythms of everyday life. The playful tricks, gentle tests, and subtle interventions encourage humans to slow down, pay attention, and cultivate respect for the unseen. Imagine walking softly through a quiet meadow at dusk, feeling the gentle presence of the hidden folk, knowing that while you may not see them, they are aware, playful, and wise. Their mischief is never threatening but always meaningful, guiding humans toward calm attentiveness and appreciation for the subtle wonders that surround them. By embracing these stories, listeners gain insight into the nuanced relationships between humans and the hidden folk. Mischief is both entertainment and instruction, fostering mindfulness, respect, and wonder. As you imagine these encounters, allow your mind to drift slowly, following the gentle rhythm of the hidden world, where every subtle movement, every small challenge, and every quiet act of observation is imbued with magic, learning, and calm reflection. Among the most captivating features of Irish fairy folklore is a deep connection the Aos maintain with natural places, especially forests, rivers, lakes, and sacred groves. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet forest at dawn, soft beams of sunlight filtering through the canopy, the air fragrant with moss and wildflowers. Every rustle of leaves, every ripple of water, carries a subtle energy, a whisper of hidden life that is alive, attentive, and aware. These natural spaces are considered sacred because they house the unseen folk, and humans were taught to move gently, observe quietly, and respect the rhythms of the land. The stories convey a sense of calm mindfulness, encouraging humans to see magic not as grand spectacles, but as subtle interactions woven into the natural world around them. Water, in particular, holds a special place in fairy lore. Rivers, streams, and wells are often the dwellings of fairies who guard the purity and flow of water. Imagine sitting beside a gently flowing river, the sunlight sparkling on the rippling surface, and sensing a quiet presence beneath the surface or along the banks. These beings are believed to reward respect, perhaps ensuring safe passage, guiding lost travelers, or offering small blessings in response to simple acts of care. A quiet touch, a gentle word, or even leaving a small offering of milk or honey by the water can signify acknowledgement of their presence. These practices foster profound connection with the environment, cultivating patience, attentiveness, and reverence for the world in its most natural state. Forests are equally important in the stories. Ancient trees, dense groves, and shadowed glens are often described as havens for the hidden folk. Imagine walking beneath the high branches of old oaks and beeches, feeling the soft carpet of moss underfoot, and hearing the faint hum of unseen activity. Fairies are believed to dwell in such places, their presence detectable through subtle signs, a glimmer of movement, a faint song, or the quiet shift of shadows. These interactions encourage humans to tread lightly, to listen closely, and to remain aware of the delicate balance between the visible and hidden worlds. The forest becomes a living teacher, providing calm lessons about patience, observation, and harmony with the rhythms of life. Sacred groves and mounds are often associated with rituals and festivals that honor the natural and supernatural worlds. Samhain, marking the end of harvest and the beginning of winter, was a time when humans paid careful attention to these spaces, leaving offerings and practicing rituals to maintain goodwill with the Aos. Imagine a quiet village at twilight, small fires flickering, the air scented with smoke and earth, villagers moving deliberately to avoid disturbing the unseen residents. These practices reflect an understanding that the land itself is alive, and that respect and harmony are essential for a peaceful coexistence with magical beings. The stories emphasize calmness, mindfulness, and a gentle attentiveness that aligns perfectly with the slow, soothing rhythm of bedtime storytelling. Fairy dwellings are not limited to obvious mounds or groves. Even ordinary features of the landscape, stones, hills, and tree roots, can serve as points of hidden presence. Imagine resting quietly near a stone circle, the air still and soft, the shadows lengthening as evening approaches. A small movement at the corner of your eye, a faint shimmer of light, or the soft rustle of leaves could signal a hidden being observing, guiding, or simply existing in peaceful harmony with the world. These subtle signs cultivate awareness, encouraging humans to recognize the magic inherent in everyday life and to approach each moment with gentle curiosity and respect. Interactions with nature often include lessons as well as rewards. A tree might bend slightly as a gentle warning, a river ripple might direct attention to a safe crossing, or a soft song carried on the wind might inspire reflection or creativity. Imagine walking through a quiet glade, sensing the air alive with subtle intelligence, and understanding that these gentle interactions are forms of guidance from the hidden world. They are never loud or forceful, only present enough to encourage calm mindfulness and attentive observation. The natural world, intertwined with fairy presence, becomes a source of quiet wisdom, fostering patience, reflection, and a sense of wonder. The connection between fairies and nature also reinforces the importance of storytelling. Tales of sacred groves, enchanted streams, and guardian beings serve to instill respect for the environment, weaving lessons of harmony and awareness into narratives that are soothing, immersive, and reflective. Imagine a child listening to a story by candlelight, picturing fairies dancing among forest leaves or a tiny figure tending to a stream, feeling a sense of calm curiosity and gentle attentiveness. These narratives nurture an appreciation for subtlety, patience, and the quiet rhythms of life. Ultimately, the stories of natural connections in Irish folklore invite humans to slow down, observe, and respect the hidden layers of the world. Forests, rivers, lakes, and groves are not only settings, they are living participants in the magical world, teaching humans lessons of patience, mindfulness, and gentle attentiveness. Imagine sitting quietly in a sun-dappled forest clearing, breathing softly, listening to the faint rustle of leaves, and sensing the calm, watchful presence of the hidden folk. The world becomes a place of subtle magic, quiet guidance, and soothing reflection, perfectly aligned with the meditative pace of bedtime storytelling. By understanding these connections, we gain insight into the rhythms of the hidden world, the importance of respect for nature, and the gentle lessons imparted by the Aos. Their presence is calming, their guidance subtle, and their magic woven seamlessly into the fabric of the environment. As you imagine yourself moving slowly and quietly through these spaces, allow your mind to absorb the serene, reflective atmosphere, feeling the hidden presence of fairies and the gentle harmony of the natural world guiding your thoughts and imagination. Among the most mysterious and captivating elements of Irish fairy folklore are the stories of fairy music and dance. Imagine a quiet, moonlit glade, where the silver light reflects softly off ducus grass and the gentle rustle of leaves carries a melody almost too subtle to hear. The Aos are often described as musicians and dancers of extraordinary skill, their songs and movements unlike anything in the human world. The music may drift on the wind, soft and ethereal, a tune that lingers in the mind long after it has vanished, carrying with it the magic and rhythm of the hidden world. Listening, even without seeing, is enough to evoke a sense of wonder, calm, and gentle awe. Fairy music is rarely loud or overwhelming. It is meant to charm, soothe, and subtly influence those who hear it. Imagine lying in a quiet meadow at twilight, the air cool and fragrant, and perceiving faint harmonies that seem to emerge from nowhere. The melodies might inspire dreams, calm restless thoughts, or bring insights into one's own life. Unlike human music, which is often structured and deliberate, fairy music flows freely, bending time and perception. Each note, each rhythm, carries the essence of the natural world, the swaying of trees, the flow of water, the whisper of the wind. It is as if the land itself were expressing its hidden magic through sound. Dancing, too, is a vital part of the Aos' presence. Their movements are graceful, fluid, and often circular, reflecting the rhythms of nature and the cycles of life. Imagine a circle of tiny figures gliding effortlessly across the moss, their feet never fully touching the ground, their forms illuminated only by the soft glow of fireflies or moonlight. Observers, if fortunate enough to catch a glimpse, often report a feeling of timelessness and wonder, as if the ordinary rules of gravity and motion no longer apply. These dances are not merely performances. They are expressions of joy, power, and harmony, connecting the hidden folk with the land and with each other. Encounters with fairy music and dance are sometimes fleeting, appearing only as whispers or shadows, yet they leave lasting impressions on those who witness them. Imagine walking through a quiet forest path at dusk, hearing the faintest notes carried on the wind, or seeing a soft shimmer of movement between the trees. Even without full comprehension, humans sense that they are in the presence of something ancient, beautiful, and profound. These experiences teach attentiveness, patience, and a gentle openness to wonder. They encourage a quiet appreciation for the unseen layers of reality, aligning perfectly with the reflective pace of bedtime storytelling. In some stories, fairy music and dance can have subtle effects on humans, ranging from inspiration and creativity to gentle disorientation or confusion. The Aosai might lure travelers with enchanting tunes, guiding them away from danger or simply inviting them to witness the beauty of a hidden moment. Imagine following a faint melody through a meadow, only to find a circle of dancing figures, their laughter soft and musical, the world around you suspended in perfect calm. Even if the figures vanish upon approach, the memory of their presence lingers, leaving a sense of quiet joy, wonder, and reflection. The rhythm of fairy music and dance is deeply connected to natural cycles and human life. Songs may echo the flow of rivers, the movement of seasons, or the passage of stars across the sky. Imagine lying under a canopy of ancient trees, hearing faint harmonies that seem to resonate with the very pulse of the earth. Each note and step carries a rhythm of the land itself, teaching listeners about balance, harmony, and the gentle flow of time. These stories invite calm reflection, drawing attention to subtleties often overlooked in ordinary life. Fairy music also serves as a form of communication. Though humans may not always understand the words or meanings, the melodies convey emotions, intentions, and guidance. A soft, melancholic tune might warn of approaching danger or evoke contemplation, while a lively, uplifting dance could signal celebration, fortune, or goodwill. Imagine a quiet evening by a river, the moon casting silver light across the water, and hearing a distant melody that stays feelings of calm curiosity and gentle anticipation. Even without knowing the source, the music invites you to listen carefully, to be present, and to attune yourself to the hidden rhythms of the world. Stories of fairy music and dance highlight the intimacy and subtlety of the Aosai's interactions with humans. These experiences are not grand spectacles meant to overwhelm, but quiet, immersive encounters designed to evoke wonder, reflection, and mindfulness. Imagine resting quietly in a meadow as evening falls, the air filled with soft, almost imperceptible harmonies. The presence of the hidden folk is felt rather than seen, their influence gentle yet profound, guiding attention, inspiring creativity, and fostering a calm connection to both nature and the unseen world. Ultimately, fairy music and dance are reminders that magic in Irish folklore is often subtle, quiet, and deeply intertwined with the rhythms of the land and life. They invite humans to slow down, listen carefully, and embrace wonder in its most delicate form. Imagine closing your eyes in a quiet glade, letting the soft melodies wash over you, feeling a sense of calm, awe, and gentle reflection. In these moments, the hidden world seems close, present, and profoundly alive, offering lessons, joy, and quiet guidance to all who pause and attune themselves to its rhythms. Through these stories, listeners are encouraged to appreciate subtleties in the world, to cultivate mindfulness, and to recognize the gentle magic that surrounds them daily. Fairy music and dance, like whispers of the hidden realm, teach the art of noticing, listening, and reflecting, perfectly aligned with the slow, meditative tone of bedtime storytelling. Among the most fascinating and gentle aspect of Irish fairy folklore is the idea of fairy omens and signs, subtle messages from the Aosai that humans were encouraged to notice, interpret, and respect. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet forest glade at dusk, the air soft and still, the fading light brushing the treetops in delicate shades of gold and pink. A sudden shimmer in the leaves, the quiet rustle of grass in an empty field, or a fleeting glimpse of movement in your peripheral vision could all be indicators of unseen presence. These signs are rarely dramatic or frightening. Rather, they are quiet, intimate nudges guiding humans to pay attention, reflect, and live harmoniously with the hidden world. Fairy omens are often connected to everyday occurrences in nature. A sudden gust of wind might carry a whispered message, a fallen leaf may mark a path, or a ripple in a stream may indicate unseen movement beneath the surface. Imagine kneeling by a gently flowing brook, the sunlight glinting off the water, and noticing a small ripple that seems deliberate, almost like a signal. In folklore, humans who recognize and respect these signs are rewarded with protection, insight, or subtle blessings. The stories emphasize observation, mindfulness, and patience, teaching that even the smallest gestures or occurrences can carry meaning when noticed with care. Sometimes, these omens are associated with life events, fortune, or misfortune. A bird alighting on a particular branch, a cloud forming in an unusual shape, or a soft sound carried on the wind may all be interpreted as signs from the Ao sky. Imagine pausing in a quiet meadow, the sky above slowly deepening into twilight, and hearing the distant, almost imperceptible call of a bird. The moment carries quiet significance, inviting reflection, attentiveness, and calm awareness. Through these signs, humans were taught to read the natural world with care, understanding that the hidden realm often communicates through subtle, serene, and gentle methods. Fairy omens are also intertwined with moral lessons. Ignoring them could lead to small setbacks, while recognition and respect often brought guidance, protection, or the avoidance of misfortune. Imagine a traveler moving carefully along a forest path, noticing a slight shift in a stone or the sudden flutter of a leaf, and adjusting their steps accordingly. In folklore, such attentiveness prevents harm, fosters harmony, and nurtures a quiet sense of responsibility toward both the natural and hidden worlds. These lessons are never forceful. They are subtle, reflective, and calming, perfectly suited for the meditative tone of bedtime storytelling. The interpretation of signs often requires reflection and patience. Unlike obvious warnings or instructions, fairy omens demand careful attention and thoughtful consideration. Imagine sitting quietly by an ancient tree, the soft murmur of the wind through its branches blending with distant bird calls. Each sound, movement, and shadow may carry a layered message, inviting you to slow your pace, observe deeply, and attune yourself to rhythms beyond immediate perception. These practices cultivate calm awareness, patience, and a reflective mindset, all of which are central to the immersive experience of Irish folklore and its subtle, gentle lessons. In some stories, signs were specific to locations, especially sacred spaces like mounds, groves, or ancient stone circles. Imagine standing before a moss-covered mound, the air thick with quiet anticipation, and sensing that every sound, shadow, and movement carries significance. A slight shimmer of light may indicate a blessing, a rustle of leaves might signal caution, and the faint scent of flowers could suggest that the hidden folk are present. Humans were encouraged to approach these spaces with reverence, respect, and quiet attentiveness, learning that harmony with the hidden world relies on sensitivity to subtle signals and gentle communication. Fairy omens are not merely warnings or guidance. They also inspire wonder, imagination, and reflection. A fleeting glimpse of movement, a delicate shimmer of light, or the faintest whisper on the wind can spark curiosity and calm awe. Imagine lying in a quiet meadow at dusk, the sky softening into deep shades of violet and blue, and feeling that the world is laid, alive with unseen presences and gentle guidance. These subtle experiences nurture mindfulness, appreciation of beauty, and the ability to perceive the quiet magic of the world, enhancing the calm, meditative qualities that make bedtime storytelling so immersive. The stories of fairy omens highlight the intimate relationship between humans and the hidden folk. Unlike dramatic or forceful interventions, these signs are quiet, patient, and subtle, encouraging humans to slow down, pay attention, and cultivate sensitivity to the unseen. Imagine walking softly through a quiet forest path, each sound and movement carrying potential significance, each shadow suggesting presence, and feeling a gentle awareness of the hidden world all around. These tales cultivate calm attentiveness, reflective thought, and a sense of connection to both nature and the mystical. Ultimately, fairy omens and signs remind humans that the world is alive with subtle messages, quiet guidance, and gentle magic. Every small detail, an unusual sound, a glimmer of movement, or the scent of flowers on the wind, may carry meaning of approach with mindfulness and respect. Imagine resting quietly by a stream as evening falls, the water shimmering with reflected moonlight, and sensing that unseen companions are present, guiding, protecting, and offering insight. These stories encourage calm reflection, patient observation, and gentle appreciation of the hidden layers of the world, aligning perfectly with the slow, immersive rhythm of bedtime storytelling. Through these tales, listeners are invited to cultivate awareness, curiosity, and reverence for subtle magic. Fairy omens teach that the world is alive, layered, and full of gentle guidance, waiting to be noticed by those who move slowly, observe carefully, and reflect deeply. Imagine closing your eyes in a quiet glade, breathing softly, and sensing the quiet, watchful presence of the Aos, offering lessons, comfort, and calm wonder through every small sign in nature. Among the most intriguing aspects of Irish fairy folklore are the tales of fairy interactions with animals, emphasizing the hidden connections between the Aos and the natural world. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet meadow at dusk, the soft light brushing over wildflowers, and noticing a gentle rustle as a rabbit darts into the undergrowth or a bird takes flight above the trees. In many stories, animals serve as messengers, companions, or guides to the hidden folk, their movements carrying subtle meaning and quiet instruction for humans who observe with care. These interactions teach attentiveness, respect, and the importance of noticing the small details in life, offering both gentle amusement and reflective insight. Fairies are often described as having control over certain animals or forming close bonds with them. Imagine a small, soft glow moving alongside a family of deer, guiding them across a meadow, or a bird chirping in a particular pattern that seems almost deliberate, as if carrying a message for an attentive listener. These animals, influenced or watched over by the Aos, act as subtle links between the visible and hidden worlds. Humans who recognize these patterns or heed the guidance of such creatures are believed to benefit from their wisdom, protection, and gentle intervention. The stories encourage calm observation and patience, allowing humans to cultivate a harmonious relationship with both the seen and unseen aspects of their surroundings. Some fairy tales highlight the playful or mischievous influence of animals connected to the Aos. Imagine a fox suddenly appearing on a quiet forest path, darting in unexpected directions, leading a traveler on a winding course. At first, the detour may seem confusing or frustrating, yet it ultimately directs a human towards safety, discovery, or a moment of beauty otherwise unnoticed. These stories emphasize that what may initially appear to be mischief often contains subtle lessons or hidden rewards, teaching humans to remain patient, attentive, and open-minded. The quiet unpredictability of these interactions reflects the gentle rhythm of fairy life, blending wonder, reflection, and calm guidance. Animals also serve as mediators between humans and the hidden folk. A cat weaving around a traveler's feet, a horse pausing to sniff the air, or a bird alighting near a well may all signify the presence or approval of fairies. Imagine resting quietly by a stream, a soft breeze ruffling your hair, and noticing a small animal behaving unusually, drawing your attention to a subtle sign or hidden feature of the landscape. The stories convey that animals are more than companions. They are subtle guides, helping humans navigate both the visible and unseen worlds, teaching mindfulness, patience, and gentle awareness. Many tales also link the behavior of animals to seasonal cycles, reflecting the interconnectedness of the hidden folk, nature, and human life. Imagine observing the flight of migrating birds, the quiet emergence of lambs in spring, or the shifting patterns of squirrels gathering nuts for winter. The hidden folk are thought to be intertwined with these natural processes, guiding and nurturing the creatures as part of their stewardship of the land. Humans who observe and respect these rhythms are believed to be rewarded with harmony, good fortune, and the quiet reassurance that they are aligned with the natural and magical cycles of the world. Fairy interactions with animals often carry moral lessons as well. For example, harming an animal thought to be under fairy protection could lead to misfortune, while acts of kindness or careful attention might result in gentle guidance or subtle blessings. Imagine a soft morning mist rising from the ground, a small bird perched nearby, and your awareness of its presence prompting quiet reflection and deliberate action. Such moments cultivate mindfulness and respect for life, reinforcing the interconnectedness of all living things and emphasizing that attention, care, and thoughtfulness are valued both in the human and hidden realms. The stories also illustrate that animals can act as both teachers and companions, bridging the ordinary and magical worlds. A dog guiding a lost child safely home, a bird revealing the location of a hidden path, or a deer leading a weary traveler to shelter all serve as examples of the quiet assistance provided through the unseen realm. These tales encourage a gentle awareness of the subtle guidance around us and highlight that magic often manifests in forms small, quiet, and nurturing. Imagine pausing in a sun-dappled clearing, the soft hum of insects blending with distant bird calls, sensing the subtle guidance of nature and hidden beings in every movement. Ultimately, fairy interactions with animals convey the idea that magic, observation, and respect are intertwined in everyday life. Humans are invited to slow their pace, notice details, and respond with gentle care to the natural world around them. Imagine walking softly through a quiet forest, every leaf, bird call, and rustle carrying potential meaning, each small moment a whisper of guidance from the hidden world. Through these stories, listeners are encouraged to cultivate mindfulness, patience, and reflective calm, aligning perfectly with the immersive, meditative pace of bedtime storytelling. By appreciating the role of animals in fairy lore, humans learn the value of harmony, observation, and subtle connection. These tales remind us that the hidden world is never far, that magic often appears in gentle, quiet forms, and that careful attention to nature and its creatures can guide, protect, and enrich our lives. Imagine resting in a quiet glade as twilight descends, feeling a profound sense of calm, knowing that the presence of the Aosai and their animal companions surrounds you, encouraging reflective awareness and gentle curiosity. One of the most fascinating and mysterious elements of Irish fairy folklore is the idea of fairy mounds, or Sídhe, as sacred dwellings of the Aosai. Imagine walking slowly across a quiet meadow at dusk, the light soft and golden, with the air fragrant with wildflowers and the faint hum of insects in the distance. Nestled within the landscape are gentle rises of earth, moss-covered and subtly glowing as if imbued with quiet, hidden energy. These mounds are said to be portals between the human world and the hidden realm, places where the rhythm of time and reality is slightly different, and where humans are encouraged to approach with patience, respect, and reverence. The mounds are often described as ancient, with roots stretching back to a time when the world was young, and the layers of history remain hidden within their gentle slopes. Imagine kneeling beside a mound, feeling the soft earth beneath your hands, and sensing that beneath the surface lies a quiet world teeming with unseen life. Humans were traditionally advised not to disturb these mounds, for doing so might anger the Aosai or disrupt the delicate balance of the hidden world. The stories convey a sense of calm attentiveness, encouraging humans to notice subtle details, move gently, and honor the sacredness of these spaces. Entering a mound or even coming too close was believed to be a profound experience, as if stepping into a world where ordinary rules no longer fully applied. Imagine the soft, filtered light inside a quiet glade, shadows shifting and soft sounds echoing as if from another time. Time within these mounds could move differently. A single afternoon outside might stretch into years within, or a decade could pass unnoticed while a human wandered in a hidden realm. This fluidity of time teaches reflection, patience, and humility, as well as a gentle awareness of the layers of reality that exist alongside everyday life. The mounds were also believed to contain treasures, though these were rarely material in the human sense. Instead, humans might gain wisdom, inspiration, guidance, or subtle blessings by encountering these hidden dwellings respectfully. Imagine pausing at the edge of a mound, sensing the quiet energy radiating from within, and feeling a gentle shift in your thoughts, a small insight, or a wave of calm understanding. These encounters are designed to teach mindfulness, patience, and harmony with the world around you, reinforcing the quiet and reflective pace that characterizes bedtime storytelling in Irish folklore. Many stories emphasize the importance of offerings and respectful gestures when near these sacred places. A small bowl of milk, a handful of berries, or a soft-spoken word of acknowledgement could invite goodwill from the Aosai. Imagine kneeling quietly, placing a small token at the base of the mound, the air still and fragrant, and feeling that the hidden folk are watching, approving, or quietly responding to your care. Such gestures foster a sense of interconnectedness between humans and the hidden world, reinforcing that respect, thoughtfulness, and attentiveness are valued across realms. The mounds are also closely associated with seasonal cycles, especially Samhain, when the veil between worlds was believed to be thinnest. During this time, humans would leave offerings and exercise particular care to honor the Aosai, as interactions were more frequent and potent. Imagine a quiet evening in late October, the mist curling around ancient hills, and the soft glow of distant lights reflecting the presence of hidden beings. These stories encourage a reflective awareness of time, cycles, and natural rhythms, inviting humans to align their actions with the subtle energies of the world. Fairy mounds also serve as reminders of the delicate balance between curiosity and caution. Many tales recount humans who ventured too boldly, disturbed the earth, or attempted to extract treasures without respect, only to face gentle but firm consequences. Imagine the quiet hush that falls over a glade after such an intrusion, the soft rustle of leaves carrying a subtle warning. These lessons teach humans patience, humility, and the importance of approaching unknown or sacred spaces with mindfulness and care. The tales encourage slow observation, thoughtful reflection, and an understanding that every action has consequences, however subtle. Additionally, mounds often acted as places of meeting and celebration for the hidden folk, sites where music, dance, and social interactions occurred away from human eyes. Imagine a soft glow emanating from beneath the earth, the faint sound of ethereal music drifting upwards, and the feeling that life, rhythm, and joy continue quietly in hidden layers of the world. Even without direct observation, humans might feel the subtle influence of these gatherings through small acts of guidance, fleeting glimpses, or quiet inspiration. These stories convey that magic is woven into the world at every level, often invisible but deeply present, and always aligned with harmony, reflection, and gentle wonder. Ultimately, fairy mounds remind humans of the presence, patience, and subtle power of the Aos. They teach reverence to the unseen, attentiveness to the natural and supernatural worlds, and the value of quiet reflection. Imagine sitting quietly beside a moss-covered mound as twilight descends, feeling the gentle pulse of unseen life beneath the earth, the soft rhythm of a world that is ancient, calm, and alive. These tales encourage humans to slow their pace, honor hidden layers of reality, and cultivate mindfulness, patience, and gentle curiosity, qualities are central to the immersive, meditative tone of bedtime storytelling. Through these narratives, listeners are invited to imagine themselves moving slowly and respectfully through the landscape, attuning to subtle energies, and appreciating the profound calm and quiet guidance offered by the hidden folk. Fairy mounds, with their ancient presence, layered meaning, and gentle lessons, provide a perfect setting for reflection, wonder, and peaceful immersion into the magical world. One of the most intriguing aspects of Irish fairy folklore is a recurring theme of fairy protection, the gentle and often unseen ways the Aos watch over humans, guiding, guarding, and sometimes intervening with subtle influence. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet forest at dawn, the mist curling softly around ancient oaks and beeches, the soft chirping of birds blending with distant rustles of leaves. In this stillness, one might feel the calm presence of something unseen, a quiet awareness that the world is alive in ways beyond ordinary perception. The fairies are believed to act as silent guardians, ensuring that those who move with respect, patience, and mindfulness are aided, protected, and sometimes gently corrected along their paths. Fairy protection can take many forms, some of them almost imperceptible. Imagine traveling along a soft, moss-covered path and suddenly noticing a branch just out of reach that prevents a misstep, or a subtle shift in terrain that guides your foot away from a hidden obstacle. Such small interventions are never dramatic or alarming. They are gentle, quiet, and thoughtful, designed to teach humans patience, attentiveness, and care. These stories encourage mindfulness and calm observation, showing that protection does not need to be overt or forceful to be effective. Sometimes, the quietest gestures have the deepest impact. Animals often play a role in this protective network. Imagine a small bird fluttering near a traveler's head, guiding attention toward a safe crossing, or a fox silently watching from the undergrowth, ensuring that a curious wanderer does not stray too far from the path. The Aos are believed to orchestrate such interactions, linking the natural and hidden worlds in a harmonious and supportive dance. Humans who recognize these signs and respond with respect are thought to receive subtle protection in return, reinforcing the values of attentiveness, humility, and quiet awareness. These stories cultivate a sense of harmony with the land, the unseen folk, and the rhythms of everyday life. In some tales, fairy protection extends to homes and villages. The presence of hidden folk could safeguard livestock, guide the growth of crops, or prevent accidents. Imagine a soft wind rustling through the fields, the hint of a shimmer in the distance, and the quiet reassurance that unseen forces are tending to the well-being of both humans and animals. Protection often comes as a result of respect and adherence to tradition, leaving offerings, honoring sacred places, and living harmoniously with the environment. These actions create a gentle, reciprocal relationship, emphasizing care, patience, and the quiet balance between human and hidden worlds. Fairy protection also manifests in social interactions and moral guidance. Those who behave honorably, act kindly, or show patience are more likely to receive subtle help or guidance, while disrespect, impatience, or arrogance may result in minor misfortune or gentle correction. Imagine a villager walking carefully across a field, leaving small offerings by an ancient mound, and feeling a soft reassurance in their steps. A confirmation that their respect is noticed. These tales teach reflection and mindfulness, reinforcing that actions carry weight not only in human eyes but also in the eyes of unseen observers. Sometimes, protection is intertwined with storytelling itself. Tales of hidden guardians, gentle interventions, and subtle guidance are shared to instill awareness, patience, and reverence for the unseen. Imagine a child listening to such a story beside a flickering hearth, the warm glow illuminating attentive eyes, absorbing lessons of harmony, observation, and respect. The narratives encourage calm reflection and cultivate a sense of connection with a world that is layered, subtle, and imbued with quiet magic. In certain legends, the Aosai protect humans by redirecting them from danger in ways that appear coincidental but are purposeful. A sudden gust of wind might prevent a misstep near a cliff, a soft rustling in the bushes might draw attention away from a hidden hazard, or a seemingly random animal sighting might guide a traveler to safety. These subtle interventions are never aggressive. They are patient, gentle, and discreet, encouraging humans to notice, reflect, and cultivate respect for the hidden world around them. The stories teach that protection is most effective when it is quiet and unintrusive, fostering trust, attentiveness, and harmony. Fairy protection is also closely tied to seasonal and sacred practices. Offerings, rituals, and careful observance of certain times of year, such as Samhain or Beltane, enhance the goodwill of the Aosai and ensure that protection remains steady and consistent. Imagine a quiet evening in late spring, mist hovering over a hilltop, soft sounds echoing in the distance, and a sense of calm reassurance that careful observance aligns humans with the rhythms of the hidden world. These stories emphasize reflection, patience, and reverence, guiding listeners to slow down, observe, and act thoughtfully in all aspects of life. Ultimately, the stories of fairy protection remind humans that the world is alive with gentle guidance, quiet guardianship, and subtle lessons. Protection is rarely dramatic or forceful. It is found in small gestures, fleeting signs, and quiet interventions that teach, nurture, and encourage mindful attention. Imagine walking softly through a misty forest, every rustle of leaves and shift in the air carrying potential meaning, every subtle movement a reflection of a hidden, watchful presence. These narratives invite calm contemplation, reflective observation, and an appreciation for the delicate balance between humans and the magical world around them. By reflecting on these tales, listeners are encouraged to slow their pace, attune to subtle signs, and cultivate patience, respect, and mindfulness. Fairy protection, in its quiet, understated form, exemplifies the gentle rhythm of Irish folklore, where guidance, harmony, and subtle influence create a world that is rich, immersive, and deeply calming. One of the most enchanting aspects of Irish fairy folklore is the idea of fairy journeys, the subtle ways the Aosai travel, appear, and interact across the landscape. Imagine walking slowly through a misty meadow at dawn, dew glistening on soft grass, the air carrying the faint scent of wildflowers, and sensing that the world is layered, alive with hidden movement. The fairies are believed to move silently between hills, mounds, forests, and rivers, their paths often invisible to human eyes yet influencing the flow of the world around them. These journeys are not hurried or abrupt. They unfold with calm precision, a gentle reminder of the rhythms and subtleties of the hidden world. Fairy journeys are often tied to natural landmarks and sacred sites. Imagine following a quiet forest path lined with ancient trees, the soft crunch of leaves underfoot blending with distant bird calls, and sensing a faint shimmer near moss-covered stone. These locations act as nodes, points where the hidden folk move between worlds, guide humans, or observe quietly from their invisible vantage points. Travelers in folklore might catch glimpses of flickering lights, hear faint music, or notice movement that seems almost ethereal, reminders that the land itself is alive and that these journeys are part of its subtle, calming rhythm. Some stories describe fairies moving in circular patterns or traveling along ley lines, pathways imbued with energy that humans rarely perceive consciously. Imagine walking in a soft meadow at dusk, shadows stretching long across the ground, and feeling a slight vibration in the air, as if the landscape itself is gently pulsing. These pathways are said to connect mounds, groves, rivers, and stone circles, creating a quiet, interconnected network through which the hidden folk move with grace and intention. Observing, even peripherally, these subtle flows encourages humans to cultivate patience, attentiveness, and a sense of wonder at the hidden layers of reality. Fairy journeys are often connected to guidance and subtle intervention. Imagine a lost traveler in a quiet forest, unsure which direction to take, when a soft shimmer of light appears near a path or the rustle of leaves draws attention to a safe crossing. The fairies are believed to guide, redirect, or protect those who move respectfully and mindfully through the world. Unlike dramatic interventions, these movements are quiet, patient, and indirect, teaching humans that subtle awareness and careful observation are often the keys to safety, insight, and understanding. Animals frequently accompany or signal the movement of the Aos. A bird darting across a glade, a fox slipping silently between trees, or a deer pausing at the edge of a clearing may indicate the passage of hidden folk or the presence of a path that requires careful attention. Imagine walking softly through a morning mist, noticing a faint shimmer in the distance, and understanding intuitively that the world is layered with quiet activity. These observations encourage reflective awareness, mindfulness, and calm attentiveness, core elements of both folklore and the soothing rhythm of bedtime storytelling. The hidden journeys of fairies are also tied to seasonal and celestial cycles. During Samhain, Beltane, and other significant times of year, their movement are believed to intensify, weaving through landscapes, forests, and sacred sites with greater visibility and impact. Imagine a quiet evening in late spring, the skies soft and silver with a glow of moonlight, and sensing subtle patterns of movement that suggest activity unseen but profoundly present. The stories highlight that timing, observation, and patience are crucial to understanding the hidden world, encouraging humans to attune themselves to the natural rhythms and cycles around them. Fairy journeys are not always immediately perceivable but leave gentle traces, soft music, flickering lights, subtle patterns in foliage, or moments of inexplicable stillness. Imagine pausing beside a stream, noticing the water shimmer in an unusual way, the air carrying the faintest rustle of movement. These traces are calming, not alarming, inviting humans to slow down, reflect, and notice subtle details. The stories emphasize that magic often works quietly, through indirect influence, gentle nudges, and soft guidance, rather than through overt displays or dramatic interventions. The journeys of the Aos also highlight the interconnectedness of the hidden and human worlds. Each movement, each subtle presence, serves a purpose, whether to protect, guide, inspire, or gently teach patience and respect. Imagine walking through a quiet glade at dusk, the light fading slowly, shadows lengthening, and sensing that every step, every whisper of wind, carries potential meaning. These tales encourage listeners to slow their pace, cultivate awareness, and reflect on the intricate ways that unseen forces can subtly influence daily life, aligning perfectly with the calm, meditative tone of bedtime storytelling. Ultimately, the stories of fairy journeys remind humans that the hidden world is alive, active, and intricately woven into the natural landscape. Movement is purposeful, subtle, and harmonious, teaching lessons of patience, observation, and gentle attentiveness. Imagine standing quietly on a misty hillside, the soft glow of twilight reflecting off dew-kissed grass, feeling the calm presence of unseen travelers moving silently through the land. These tales invite deep reflection, mindful awareness, and a sense of calm wonder, perfectly aligned with the immersive, meditative pace of Irish folklore for bedtime storytelling. Through these narratives, listeners are encouraged to imagine themselves moving slowly and attentively through the landscape, noticing subtle signs, gentle guidance, and hidden patterns. Fairy journeys provide a quiet, immersive framework for reflection, wonder, and calm, fostering patience, mindfulness, and deep appreciation for the delicate layers of the magical world around us. As evening falls softly over the rolling hills and quiet glades of Ireland, the hidden world of the Aos comes alive with gentle, deliberate rhythms. Fairy rituals, often unseen and subtle, are at the heart of this quiet magic. Imagine walking slowly through a meadow bath in the soft glow of twilight, dew sparkling on grass blades, the air fragrant with wildflowers and moss. Each rustle of leaves, each flicker of light, seems to carry meaning, a whisper of ceremony performed in harmony with the cycles of nature. The Aosai move with grace, carefully maintaining balance in their hidden realm, ensuring that the energies of the world remain aligned, gentle, and nurturing. The rituals of the hidden folk are closely tied to the changing seasons, reflecting the deep connection between the natural world and the mystical. In spring, ceremonies celebrate renewal, growth, and the reawakening of life. Imagine standing in a soft glade as the first light of dawn brushes over flowers opening their petals, birds calling softly in the distance. Tiny figures move unseen, weaving their presence into the landscape, carrying out rituals that honor the cycles of birth and rebirth. Each movement, each placement of a flower or stone, resonates with purpose, reminding humans that life is a tapestry of subtle, interconnected patterns, and that mindfulness in our actions strengthens a harmony of all things. Summer rituals often center on abundance, warmth, and celebration. Picture a quiet hilltop in late afternoon, golden light streaming across gently swaying meadows. Invisible hands place offerings, milk, berries, delicate flowers, near mounds, in hollows, or beside streams, honoring the hidden folk who sustain and observe the rhythms of life. Music drifts softly on the breeze, notes almost imperceptible yet perfectly in tune with the natural world. The rhythm of dance and song flows like water over stones, carrying lessons of patience, respect, and attunement to the cycles that govern both human and hidden worlds. The Aosai teach through these rituals that joy, attentiveness, and reverence are inseparable from a life lived in harmony with nature. Autumn brings reflection, preparation, and quiet observance. The forest floor is a carpet of amber and gold, and the hidden folk guide the cycles of harvest, preparation for winter, and the subtle letting go of what is no longer needed. Imagine walking through an orchard as the wind stays fallen leaves, carrying whispers of unseen activity. The Aosai perform ceremonies that maintain balance, ensuring that life continues smoothly, that resources are replenished, and that the human world is subtly aligned with the cycles of nature. In these rituals, attention to small details, a carefully placed token of food, a whispered acknowledgement of the land, become central. The stories remind listeners that reverence for the rhythms of life is both practical and magical, offering protection, guidance, and harmony. Winter rituals are often quiet, reflective, and protective, ensuring that the energies of the world remain balanced during the season of stillness. Imagine a snow-dusted forest clearing, the air crisp and still, and the faint shimmer of hidden movement among the trees. The Aosai perform ceremonies that maintain harmony through the cold months, guiding animals, protecting humans, and preserving the natural order. Fires burn softly in human homes nearby, and in folklore, those who honor these hidden rituals, through offerings, respect, or careful attention, receive subtle protection and guidance. Each small gesture strengthens the link between the human world and the hidden realm, reinforcing lessons of patience, care, and mindful observation. The elements themselves are central to fairy rituals. Water, stone, wind, and fire are all imbued with significance. Imagine a gently flowing stream, each ripple carrying intention, each leaf floating by a tiny messenger. Moss-covered stones serve as altars, sacred spaces where offerings are placed, prayers whispered, or acknowledgments made to honor the hidden folk. Wind carries faint melodies, the soft rustle of leaves a response to unseen ceremonies. Even firelight is said to flicker in alignment with hidden rituals, casting shadows that tell stories only perceptive humans might sense. The natural world and the Aosai are inseparable, their interactions reflecting delicate balance, harmony, and profound subtlety. Fairy rituals often involve the guidance and observation of humans. While the Aosai act quietly, humans who are attentive may notice signs, omens, or subtle patterns that indicate ritual activity. Imagine pausing beside an ancient mound at dusk, the light dim, shadows stretching across soft moss, and sensing a presence that encourages reflection and awareness. Each small sign, the flicker of light, a sudden gentle breeze, or an animal's unusual movement, offers insight into the cycles of nature, the rhythm of life, and the interconnectedness of the hidden and visible worlds. Observing these signs cultivates mindfulness, patience, and appreciation for layers of reality often overlooked in everyday life. In some tales, humans who participate respectfully in fairy rituals, leaving offerings, acknowledging sacred spaces, or observing quietly, are rewarded with subtle blessings. These might include safe journeys, protection for livestock, increased abundance, or personal insight. Imagine a child kneeling softly to place a bowl of milk near a mossy mound, feeling a gentle warmth in the air and sensing a quiet approval from unseen beings. Such moments teach humans the value of humility, care, and attentiveness, reinforcing the idea that small, thoughtful actions carry profound significance in both visible and hidden realms. The timing and location of rituals hold great importance. Certain mounds, groves, riverbanks, or stone circles are especially potent. Their energy is heightened during specific lunar phases or seasonal changes. Imagine a moonlit glade in late October, the veil between worlds believed to be thinnest, the air shimmering faintly with unseen movement. Here, rituals are performed with heightened attention, ensuring balance, maintaining harmony, and subtly guiding humans and animals alike. The stories encourage humans to attune themselves to these rhythms, fostering mindfulness, reflection, and a sense of reverence for the cycles that govern life. Music, song, and movement are integral to fairy rituals, imbuing the hidden world with a sense of harmony and beauty. Imagine the faintest melody drifting on the breeze, notes so soft they seem to merge with the rustle of leaves, creating a calming rhythm that resonates with the natural world. Invisible figures move gracefully in circular patterns, their motions deliberate, embodying the principles of balance, flow, and connection. Humans who witness or sense these patterns, even partially, are reminded that life is enriched by attentiveness, harmony, and respect for the subtle forces that surround them. Over time, fairy rituals teach humans not only about balance and respect, but also about morality, patience, and empathy. Disrespect for sacred spaces or failure to acknowledge the hidden world may result in gentle correction, a subtle lesson designed to restore harmony. Conversely, attentiveness, kindness, and humility often bring small blessings, protection, or insight. Imagine observing a small ceremony at dawn, the air filled with quiet energy that encourages reflection, and sensing that the hidden folk are guiding both the land and those who inhabit it toward harmony. These narratives cultivate a deep understanding of interconnectedness and mindful presence. Ultimately, fairy rituals embody the philosophy of slow observation, reverence, and attentive care. They teach that every gesture, however small, holds meaning, that the natural and hidden worlds are intertwined, and that harmony is achieved through patience, respect, and mindful awareness. Imagine lying in a quiet meadow under a starlit sky, feeling the subtle pulse of life around you, the gentle rhythm of wind, leaves, and unseen movement carrying lessons in calm attentiveness. Fairy rituals encourage humans to attune to these rhythms, cultivating serenity, reflection, and wonder. These rituals also emphasize the inseparability of humans and nature. Each action taken by the Aosai resonates through the world. Rivers flow, animals move, plants grow, and humans are subtly influenced by the harmony maintained through ritual. Imagine walking softly through a glade, the sunlight filtering through leaves, each rustle and movement carrying the weight of centuries of quiet ceremonies. Awareness of this intricate web teaches patience, attentiveness, and the profound beauty of a world alive with subtle, deliberate magic. Through careful observation, humans are invited to participate in this dance, not as intrusive observers, but as respectful participants in the ongoing flow of life. Offerings, quiet acknowledgement, and attunement to the hidden world allow one to experience the gentle protection, guidance, and subtle joy that the Aosai provide. Imagine kneeling beside a river at dawn, feeling the soft pulse of life, the delicate whisper of wind across the water, sensing that the world is alive with both seen and unseen presence. As the night deepens, the Aosai continue their rituals, maintaining harmony and balance across the landscape. The soft glow of moonlight illuminates hidden groves, the faint rustle of leaves accompanies subtle movements, and the quiet rhythm of their work ensures that the world remains aligned and serene. Humans who honor these practices, even in thought or small gestures, are linked to this harmony, invited to move with patience, awareness, and reflective calm. In the final reflections of these tales, one understands that fairy rituals are not simply ceremonies. They are expressions of philosophy that values harmony, attentiveness, and gentle observation. They remind us that the world is alive with subtle layers of magic, that every action, gesture, and thought carries weight, and that mindfulness and respect are the keys to living in harmony with both the seen and unseen worlds. Imagine lying quietly beneath the stars, the soft rhythm of wind, water, and rustling leaves enveloping you in calm, and sensing that the Aosai are guiding, protecting, and observing with patient, gentle care. Through these stories, listeners are encouraged to cultivate awareness, patience, respect, and reflective calm. Fairy rituals, in all their subtlety, repetition, and quiet beauty, offer a framework for understanding the interconnectedness of life, the cycles of nature, and profound serenity that comes from attunement to the hidden world. By observing, acknowledging, and participating, however subtly, humans are invited into a state of mindfulness, harmony, and deep appreciation for the delicate magic woven into every corner of existence. These rituals, the quietest of lessons, provide an immersive and meditative experience, guiding humans toward peaceful reflection and understanding. They teach that life is enriched by careful attention, that magic is woven into the natural world, and that respect, patience, and quiet observation are pathways to harmony and serenity. Imagine slowly closing your eyes in a soft meadow, the air alive with the whispers of hidden folk, the soft melodies of wind and water, and feeling a profound sense of connection, calm, and gentle wonder settle over you. As the evening settles softly over the rolling hills of Ireland, painting the landscape in deepening shades of violet and indigo, we find ourselves on the edge of a quiet, reflective journey, one that draws us gently into the hidden world of the Sídhe. Imagine walking slowly along a moss-carpeted forest path, the damp earth beneath your feet soft and yielding, the faint scent of wildflowers mingling with the rich aroma of fallen leaves. Each step seems deliberate, measured, yet effortless, as if the very ground beneath you guides your pace. In these serene moments, the air itself feels alive, carrying whispers of stories that have traveled for centuries, stories of hidden folk who dwell quietly alongside humans, observing, guiding, and sometimes intervening in subtle, unseen ways. The Sídhe, often called fairies, are not the mischievous tricksters of fleeting imagination, but beings deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature and human life. They move with a grace so subtle that they are nearly imperceptible, yet their presence can be felt in the softest rustle of leaves, the gentle ripple of a stream, or the sudden flicker of light across a dew-drenched meadow. Imagine pausing in a clearing, the fading light of day brushing over the tops of tall grass, and sensing that the landscape itself is breathing, humming quietly with life both seen and unseen. Hey, among the soft shadows and whispered winds, one realizes that magic is not loud or brash. It is quiet, deliberate, and profoundly calming. Fairy music and dance fill the hidden world with rhythm and harmony. Imagine hearing the faintest echo of harps or flutes, soft melodies threading through the trees like silk in the breeze. Though invisible, the music carries intention, a gentle weaving of harmony into the world around it. Sometimes, the wind itself seems to carry the song, rustling through leaves in patterns that almost resemble dance, while shadows shift as if in response to unseen steps upon the earth. These celebrations are not hurried or chaotic. They unfold slowly, deliberately, inviting humans who are attentive to pause, listen, and reflect. Every note, every movement, every rustle carries lessons of patience, attentiveness, and quiet joy. In addition to music, fairy rituals and practices maintain balance in the hidden world and the natural cycles that humans often overlook. Picture a quiet hilltop bath in the soft glow of moonlight, where small offerings of milk, berries, or flowers are left in honor of the Sídhe. Imagine approaching the mounds softly, feeling the cool night air against your skin, and sensing a subtle acknowledgement of your respect from unseen presences. Each act, however small, reinforces a connection between human life and the hidden realm, teaching that harmony, mindfulness, and reverence are essential for coexistence. These rituals, though subtle and often unseen, shape the energies of the world, guiding plants, animals, and humans alike in quiet, powerful ways. The hidden folk also communicate through omens, signs, and subtle interactions. A bird landing unexpectedly on a branch may carry a message, a soft breeze may redirect a wanderer along a safe path, or the flicker of light across a stream may indicate unseen guidance. Imagine noticing a single wildflower blooming in a peculiar pattern, or the gentle sway of reeds by a river, and realizing that each movement holds significance. Observing these details cultivates awareness and patience, allowing humans to perceive the hidden layers of the world and to understand that attention, mindfulness, and respect are not just virtues. They are a lifeline connecting one to the unseen forces of the land. Fairy journeys, which weave seamlessly through mounds, groves, forests, and rivers, demonstrate the interconnectedness of all things. Imagine following a soft trail of shimmer along the forest floor, the shadows of trees stretching long and quiet, each step guided by unseen rhythms. The Aos travel along pathways often invisible to human eyes, yet every path is precise, deliberate, and harmonious with the natural world. Among the most captivating features of Irish fairy folklore is a deep connection the Aos maintain with natural places, especially forests, rivers, lakes, and sacred groves. Imagine walking slowly through a quiet forest at dawn, soft beams of sunlight filtering through the canopy, the air fragrant with moss and wildflowers. Every rustle of leaves, every ripple of water, carries a subtle energy, a whisper of hidden life that is alive, attentive, and aware. These natural spaces are considered sacred because they house the unseen folk, and humans were taught to move gently, observe quietly, and respect the rhythms of the land. The stories convey a sense of calm mindfulness, encouraging humans to see magic not as grand spectacles, but as subtle interactions woven into the natural world around them. Water, in particular, holds a special place in fairy lore. Rivers, streams, and wells are often the dwellings of fairies who guard the purity and flow of water. Imagine sitting beside a gently flowing river, the sunlight sparkling on the rippling surface, and sensing a quiet presence beneath the surface or along the banks. These beings are believed to reward respect, perhaps ensuring safe passage, guiding lost travelers, or offering small blessings in response to simple acts of care. A quiet touch, a gentle word, or even leaving a small offering of milk or honey by the water can signify acknowledgement of their presence. These practices foster profound connection with the environment, cultivating patience, attentiveness, and reverence for the world in its most natural state. Forests are equally important in the stories. Ancient trees, dense groves, and shadowed glens are often described as havens for the hidden folk. Imagine walking beneath the high branches of old oaks and beeches, feeling the soft carpet of moss underfoot, and hearing the faint hum of unseen activity. Fairies are believed to dwell in such places, their presence detectable through subtle signs, a glimmer of movement, a faint song, or the quiet shift of shadows. These interactions encourage humans to tread lightly, to listen closely, and to remain aware of the delicate balance between the visible and hidden worlds. The forest becomes a living teacher, providing calm lessons about patience, observation, and harmony with the rhythms of life. Sacred groves and mounds are often associated with rituals and festivals that honor the natural and supernatural worlds. Samhain, marking the end of harvest and the beginning of winter, was a time when humans paid careful attention to these spaces, leaving offerings and practicing rituals to maintain goodwill with the Aos. Imagine a quiet village at twilight, small fires flickering, the air scented with smoke and earth, villagers moving deliberately to avoid disturbing the unseen residents. These practices reflect an understanding that the land itself is alive, and that respect and harmony are essential for a peaceful coexistence with magical beings. The stories emphasize calmness, mindfulness, and a gentle attentiveness that aligns perfectly with the slow, soothing rhythm of bedtime storytelling. Fairy dwellings are not limited to obvious mounds or groves. Even ordinary features of the landscape, stones, hills, and tree roots, can serve as points of hidden presence. Imagine resting quietly near a stone circle, the air still and soft, the shadows lengthening as evening approaches. A small movement at the corner of your eye, a faint shimmer of light, or the soft rustle of leaves could signal a hidden being observing, guiding, or simply existing in peaceful harmony with the world. These subtle signs cultivate awareness, encouraging humans to recognize the magic inherent in everyday life and to approach each moment with gentle curiosity and respect. Interactions with nature often include lessons as well as rewards. A tree might bend slightly as a gentle warning, a river ripple might direct attention to a safe crossing, or a soft song carried on the wind might inspire reflection or creativity. Imagine walking through a quiet glade, sensing the air alive with subtle intelligence, and understanding that these gentle interactions are forms of guidance from the hidden world. They are never loud or forceful, only present enough to encourage calm mindfulness and attentive observation. The natural world, intertwined with fairy presence, becomes a source of quiet wisdom, fostering patience, reflection, and a sense of wonder. The connection between fairies and nature also reinforces the importance of storytelling. Tales of sacred groves, enchanted streams, and guardian beings serve to instill respect for the environment, weaving lessons of harmony and awareness into narratives that are soothing, immersive, and reflective. Imagine a child listening to a story by candlelight, picturing fairies dancing among forest leaves or a tiny figure tending to a stream, feeling a sense of calm curiosity and gentle attentiveness. These narratives nurture an appreciation for subtlety, patience, and the quiet rhythms of life. Ultimately, the stories of natural connections in Irish folklore invite humans to slow down, observe, and respect the hidden layers of the world. Forests, rivers, lakes, and groves are not only settings, they are living participants in the magical world, teaching humans lessons of patience, mindfulness, and gentle attentiveness. Imagine sitting quietly in a sun-dappled forest clearing, breathing softly, listening to the faint rustle of leaves, and sensing the calm, watchful presence of the hidden folk. The world becomes a place of subtle magic, quiet guidance, and soothing reflection, perfectly aligned with the meditative pace of bedtime storytelling. By understanding these connections, we gain insight into the rhythms of the hidden world, the importance of respect for nature, and the gentle lessons imparted by the Ao's sigh. Their presence is calming, their guidance subtle, and their magic woven seamlessly into the fabric of the environment. As you imagine yourself moving slowly and quietly through these spaces, allow your mind to absorb the serene, reflective atmosphere, feeling the hidden presence of fairies and the gentle harmony of the natural world guiding your thoughts and imagination.